The energy in the Staples Center was outrageous. It was a living, pulsating field that responded to the band's every sound. But for Eve, it felt as though she were suspended in time. Everything slowed down in the split second the lights flashed over his face, and she recognized him. She continued to move and sway in a semi-dance with Kate in the front row, but she was no longer amped about their floor tickets right next to the stage. The urge to hide struck her, which was silly, she thought, because he would never notice her there with the lights shining in his eyes while she stood among the crush of bodies. His voice was mesmerizing. It had taken on a deeper, sexier quality since she'd seen him last. He ran down the catwalk that jutted out into the crowd and slid on his knees as he belted out the last strong note of the song. He came to a stop just before the end of the stage, his head thrown back, all the muscles of his throat straining as he pulled the final notes from the depths of his soul. All hands reached towards him, women screamed, and the sight of him in his full, unadulterated glory hit her in the gut like a mallet. She sighed. God help her, she had to. He was breathtaking, and it was impossible not to be moved by his talent as the music washed over her. Eve lifted her hands to cheer and scream along with the others. The house lights went dark, and for a minute, nothing but the hoots and whistles of the crowd could be heard. Several people lifted their cell phones, the screen light shining through the darkness in appreciation as they waited for the next song. A spotlight snapped on to reveal Devon sitting on a stool in the center of the stage, a guitar in his hands. He lazily plucked 3 notes on it, and the crowd went wild. Everyone knew the ballad. It had been a hit for the longest time. More cell phones appeared, and their lights started to sway as he began to strum. The background illumination came up, revealing the rest of the band. She couldn't take her eyes off him, and was glad she could take in her fill of his mesmerizing form without him knowing. She and Kate stood off to the right, below him, catching a great view of his profile as he played. The muscles of his bicep and forearm twitched elegantly as he picked and strummed. Never in a million years would she have ever suspected that Devon Quinn would become the new lead singer for Arsenal. When Kate had invited her to the concert, she'd been more than happy to accept. It had been rumored that Arsenal would make a surprise appearance with their new lead singer, but no one had been sure. His identity had been kept top secret, and speculation had been rampant. Kate smiled at her with glee. "Isn't he hot?" Eve smiled back and nodded, hoping the dark would shield her friend from the fact that it was forced. Kate had no idea. Hot did not even begin to describe it. He stood up, continuing to play, as he approached the edge of the stage, and then turned to stroll slowly down the right side. Fans reached up to touch and grab whatever they could as he crooned the words of the song. And then, finally, he was right in front of where they stood. Kate went wild with the rest of them, straining her hands out to touch him. It was too late to move. Eve was now pinned against the stage as people surged forward. Packed in among the warm bodies, her head mere inches from Devon's feet, she hoped the crowd would be sufficient camouflage. No such luck. His piercing, coal-lined blue eyes honed right in on her. The instant their eyes met, a knowing passed between them, and that strange suspended feeling came back to her. It felt as though he was singing directly to her now. Eve stood paralyzed, not knowing what to do. There was no escape at the moment. Her hands were pressed against the wall of the stage, feeling the vibrations. Her eyes were glued to his, and she didn't think there was any force on earth that could have made her look away from where he stood above her, his hands skillfully moving along the neck of the guitar. Illuminated by the multiple spotlights aimed on him, Devon looked like a god.